Welcome to the reading section, The New Blue Dress.
Overview. Let us have a look at the overview. The overview slide consists of 3 sections, namely Introduction, Instruction, and Evaluation. The Introduction section is meant to motivate the student to learn the lesson. The Instruction section divides the contents of the lesson into 4 subsections. They are Content, Communication, Constructive Components, and Enrichment Activities. The lesson is covered under Content. All the activities pertaining to the 4 skills of language and their assessment are covered under the sections Communication and the Constructive Components. The enrichment activities are meant to widen the scope of the student's thinking and learning, thereby making him or her a global citizen. The extent of understanding of the module can be assessed by the student under the Evaluation section. Learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to
Identify the change in Gates Avenue, learn how to be neat and tidy, develop self-importance, know the advantages of breakfast. Have you ever seen children of your age who are not properly dressed? What do you think of them? What could be the reason for their improper dressing? Did you ever see anybody giving a new dress to the poor kids? Well, here is a teacher who helped a student who was poor. That small help brought a big change in the little girl's life. Let us know what the change is. The spring season had come to the city of Cleveland in 1909, but Gates Avenue did not change. People living in the pretty streets near Gates Avenue made gardens and painted their houses. But it was Gates Avenue which was looking dirty and ugly. Though it was a short street, it was ugly and looking longer. Many of them who were living there were very poor, and they never tried to have more. The houses were not painted for many years, and the people there did not have running water. The street was ugly to look at, and there was no pavement and no street lights. At the end of the Gates Avenue, the railroad added too much noise. This was the condition of the Gates Avenue. During spring season, all the students near Gates Avenue wore new and pretty clothes. But a poor girl from Gates Avenue wore a dirty dress to the school, which she had worn all through the winter, and it was because that was the only dress she had. Looking at the girl, the teacher was unhappy. She was a nice girl and worked hard in the school. She was friendly and polite towards others. The face of the girl was dirty and her dress was untidy, whereby no one could see her pretty face under the dirt. One day, the teacher said to the girl,
"When you come to school tomorrow morning, please wash your face, just for my sake."
The next morning, when the child came to school, her face was pretty and her hair was tidy. That afternoon, before the little girl went home, the teacher said to her,
"Dear, please ask your mother to wash your dress."
The little girl continued to wear the same old dress. The teacher thought,
Her mother may not be interested in her.
The teacher bought and gifted a new blue dress to the girl. The child happily took the dress and went home. The next day, the girl came in the new blue dress to the school, and she was looking very clean and tidy. The girl told the teacher in excitement,
Teacher, my mother was surprised to see me in my new dress. My father was not at home, and he will see me at supper tonight.
The father, looking at her daughter in the new blue dress, was amazed that he had such a pretty girl. He saw a cloth on the kitchen table and was surprised, as they had never used it before. His wife also decided to be tidier from then onwards and said to her husband,
I feel ashamed to be dirty when our daughter is clean.
After supper, the mother washed the kitchen floor. Her husband, watching it silently, went outside and started repairing the fence. Next evening, with the help of his family members, he began to make a garden. Slowly, there was a change. The man in the next house watched the neighbor, and he began to paint his house for the first time in 10 years. A few days later, the young minister of a church passed through these and observed two men working. He observed that there was no running water, no street lights, and no pavement to the people who were living in the Gates Avenue, and asked some important citizens to help them. Because of the young minister, there was a pavement, street lights on the corner, and there was running water in every house. All this happened 6 months after the little girl got the new dress. Now, respectable citizens lived in Gates Avenue. People who heard the story of Gates Avenue began to organize their own cleanup campaigns. Since 1913, more than 7,000 towns and cities organized campaign programs for painting and repairing homes and gave better lives to them. Who can say what happens when the teacher presents a new blue dress to a girl?
Your button to listen to the pronunciation of each word.
Running water, pavement, excitement, amazed, decent, community, organize, campaigns, respect, supper. Observe the following conversation and understand. Try to follow the important points spoken in the conversation.
Teacher, my stomach is aching.
Observe the following conversation and understand. Try to follow the important points spoken in the conversation.
Teacher, my stomach is aching.
Why? What is the reason? Did you have your breakfast?
No, teacher, I did not have breakfast as I was in a hurry to come to school.
Whatever it may be, but you should not skip your breakfast.
Teacher, kindly tell us the importance of breakfast.
Breakfast is an important meal for children. It breaks the fast. Researchers say that malnutrition is a cause for the lack of cognitive development in children.
How does it affect a child's behavior, teacher?
It affects the child's ability to concentrate and perform complex tasks, and it adversely affects the child's problem-solving ability.
Is that so? Then I will never miss my breakfast from tomorrow.
Teacher, what type of breakfast should we have?
Good question. A child eating curd rice, dal rice with a side dish helps in increasing his concentration and memory. It gives more energy than energy drinks. Children eating idli and dosa with sambar have more energy than children who eat them with sugar and chutney, as the former provides them with proteins and carbohydrates, and it is a well-balanced meal.
So, finally, teacher, what is the best breakfast?
The best breakfast is idli sambar, rice and dal or curd, chapati with dal egg curry, egg sandwiches, puri and potato, and a glass of milk. All these have carbohydrates, proteins and fats. Idli and sugar, idiyappam and sugar give immediate energy, but it doesn't last long. So children, do not eat junk food which is bad for health.
Summary. Let us recap the highlights of this section.
Gates Avenue was a short street in the city of Cleveland. The people near Gates Avenue were very neat and tidy, but Gates Avenue was dirty and ugly. All the students who came from the surroundings of Gates Avenue were neat and tidy, but one girl who came from Gates Avenue was not clean. Her dress was dirty and her hair was untidy. The teacher wanted to bring a change in the girl. She presented her a new blue dress. The next day, the girl came to the school with a clean face and wore the neat blue dress. The mother, looking at her daughter, was surprised and was impressed by her. There was a change in her, and she started washing the kitchen floor after supper. The father too changed and went out to repair the fencing, and he began to make a garden. Later, a young minister who was passing by observed the houses and arranged for street lights, running water, and a pavement in that area. Now, Gates Avenue is an advanced area where respectable citizens live.